Well, there's one more. There's one more precept out there of the big ones, in terms of virtue. And it's one of the core five. Yeah. And it is to be mindful of substances that cloud the mind and that can lead to heedlessness. Yeah. That cloud the mind and that can lead to heedlessness. Yeah. So, first of all, what comes to mind when you think of that? For me, of course, it's alcohol. And I think, haven't we all been touched in one way or another? Haven't we all been touched by someone that we know? Someone in our family, someone in our good close friend circle, one of our ancestors, who have you used that to excess to the point where it's clouded their mind, and led to heedlessness, to say the least, So when we're wondering, well, what exactly do they mean? Cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness. And what is that level? Well, we know for sure what it is when it's over the top, because we've all experienced the pain, not just personally to the person, but how that pain can radiate outwards, right? To a relationship, to a family, to a community, right? Yeah, and how destructive that can be. Yeah, we've all been in contact with that. Yeah, we've all been in contact with that. Yeah, yeah, and and maybe we ourselves, have had a brush with something like that. Maybe not, but these practices are about bringing more subtlety and more nuance and more discernment to ourselves and to what I would call our little addictions. We can look at a big addiction out there and go, well, that's not me. Wow, well, yes, that's sad, but that's not me. And at the same time, we all have our little things, don't we? We all have our little things that sometimes lead to a little bit of carelessness, a little bit of heedlessness, a little bit of cloudiness of mind. So when I think of this precept, I think, what are all the other ways that these days in this culture, and personally, that can start to show up, that can lead to the general idea of it is what leads to heedlessness and cloudiness of mind, right? Cloudiness of mind and heedlessness. And I came up with 14 things. Apart from alcohol, actually, apart from all substances. I mean, maybe marijuana could be, and partly it's the inquiry is, well, how is it for me? What is it for me? What function does it serve? What's good about it? What's challenging about it? What's up with that for me? What's my motivation? What's my intention? What's my intention with all of these things? That's the general invitation of this practice, to look more closely at what we're up to and what we're doing. And is it leading to something more wholesome or not? And there's nobody else in there. We have to make these discernments and these decisions about ourselves, right? Yeah. So here are some of the ones that I came up with. You can see if any of these, if you connect with any of these, a lot of us connect with a lot of them, I think, at least in smaller ways. Now, my vision, I keep forgetting about my vision, so I'll write something down. I haven't gotten a new prescription yet. And then I have to go like this because I can't read what I just wrote, So I'm going to hold this up. One of them is food. Food can be a drug for a lot of people, too much food. Too much food, too much of the wrong food, can lead to a kind of soporific, kind of heedless. It can lead to kind of driftiness and heedlessness. Too much food. as well as problems with health. Food can be so many things in our culture, but it can be used as a drug. It can be used as a way to dull myself out, as well. Speed. Rushing from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. Oh yeah, I got to get it done. Got to get it done. Got to get. But we've become a speed culture. We've become addicted to speed, to rushing. Rushing around can lead to cloudiness of mind and heedlessness. And it can lead to kind of aggression, a kind of an aggressive energy, with the chemicals that start to get released in the body when we're speeding around, can lead to high blood pressure. Driving. In Boston, at least, too much driving can lead to heedlessness. Heedlessness. Multitasking. Now that's in the same category as speeding, but multitasking, really not doing one thing, trying to do many things at the same time, right? I'm eating, I'm talking on the phone, I'm writing, I'm watching something. This has become a new. I'm not sure that some of these things happened in the old days to this extent. Have you noticed that when you're really multitasking, you can become more irritable, just a little less present, that a little bit more heedless. All of these little things which can turn into big things, that can lead to heedlessness. Video games. I don't know if any of you are into them. I'm not into them. I used to be into pinball machines, though, when I was a kid, with the flippers. I don't know if any of you remember it. If any of you, I totally got into those. Fortunately, I got into those so much that I can't do a single video game in my adult life. I'm so done with all of that, But have you seen people get addicted? I mean, you just can't, right? Kids, you can't pull them away for dinner even, right? With the video game. I mean, it becomes this unbelievable, it definitely can lead to heedlessness. Definitely. It's a new addiction. Watching too much news of the wrong kind can lead to heedlessness and to carelessness. I know I don't watch news much anymore because when I get done with it, I'm in a funk. I'm not. It throws us off. It can lead to heedlessness. It can lead to grumpiness. It can throw us off. Too much time with our families can lead to strange states of mind and heedlessness. I've certainly experienced that. A weekend is good. 4 days is way too much. Something happens. I don't know how it is for you. We're all different with this. What things in general, what things lead to cloudiness of mind and heedlessness, right? Yeah. Too much TV. Too much screens. Oh my goodness. The screen, the phone. We teach every year up in the mountains. It's in New Mexico. It's one of the few places where internet doesn't work, which is great. And everybody says, oh, this is great. I'll be able to get off my phone for a whole week. But for the first day, they're trying to sit in the meditation hall, and all of a sudden we'll see people go like this. There's no phone in their hand, but they're so used to, it's almost like an addictive thing, right? And they actually go through withdrawal for the first day or two, and they'll report this to us. And they said, I heard about addiction, but I didn't realize that was me with my phone. Yeah. If you don't think you have some addiction there, try really putting it down for 24 hours, Yeah. So that's a new one for a lot of us. Maybe not for you. Maybe not for you. I have one of these tiny little flip phones. Cost me $10. Yeah. I can't get data on it. I don't want to get data on it. I can't see emails on it. All I get are voice messages. That's it. And all I can do on it is send voice messages. Call me old fashioned. When I have that other, I have one of those other phones, but it's just like it leads to heedlessness for me. Yeah, it leads to heedlessness for me. It does. Overworking, underplaying, and overworking can lead to cloudiness of mind and heedlessness and, crankiness. Yeah. Heedlessness and crankiness are very much connected, I think. Overworking, not enough play, not enough creativity, not enough nature, not enough exercise. Any of those. How is it for you? If you're not doing all of those to some degree, it can lead to heedlessness. It can lead to heedlessness. It can lead to kind of this down, this draggy kind of drifty, listless kind of energy. We can get bored a lot. All of these. Not enough social contact, not enough wholesome social contact. Now, I say that because it's become more common to have more unwholesome social contact in this regard. Do you know people who all they want to talk about is how rough things are in the world? How it's rough everywhere, anywhere, and that's all they want to talk about? All they want to talk about? Okay, a little bit of that is understandable. But when that's their main channel, for me, it leads to heedlessness. It leads to a kind of a certain stickiness, driftiness, down pulling energy. Too much of that. We need more wholesome social contact. Yeah. I know it's a long list. Too much unwholesome contact, too much focus on the negative in general, inwardly or outwardly. Too much focus on the negative can lead to heedlessness. Yeah, can lead to heedlessness, and yeah. And the last one for me is not meditating. Have you experienced this? This is one of the reasons that this is one of the things that finally gets people into practicing on more like a daily basis. You begin to notice for yourself. I've noticed for myself. I had to notice it like 1,000 times because I'm like a really slow learner. But on days when I don't meditate, now I don't have many of those days anymore, finally. But on days when I don't meditate, I'm more heedless. And the mind is more cloudy. I'm more off balance. Yeah, just by not meditating, I become more heedless. So I'm just saying, look, let's put a wider umbrella around that. Sometimes we read this one and go, oh, I don't drink too much. That's not me. I'm okay. So I don't have to worry about that precept. But we don't necessarily generalize that to heedlessness in general, to the ways that where have we become heedless and where has that caused problems internally or externally, or externally in my relationships, where has that been? How is that for you? And so I would say in general, and for me, the invitation in that precept is to expand open the umbrella more with that and just begin to see, what's going on with that? What are the things that are leading to heedlessness that I maybe want to do a little bit less of? What are the things that lead to not heedlessness to more skillful or compassionate attention that I'd like to do a little bit more of, engage a little bit more with. It's really like that, you know. It's always about our discernment, you know, your own discernment, yeah, as we move forward on the path, yeah. So again, one of the things I like about these precepts is it's not just focusing on what we do on the cushion, but it's what are we doing in our lives? What are we up to? It's really taking that wider kind of landscape and then looking more closely, more closely at how we're doing with all of that. Yeah, and it's all part of the path. It becomes all part of the path. You know, I love that Tibetan expression. Whatever is going on, whatever comes my way, may I take it to the path. May I take it to the path. May I make it part of my Dharma practice. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and this is just one more angle on it. One more angle on it. Yeah. So thank you for listening.